Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Friday, June 12th, and I want to talk a little bit about reentry. Now, there's been, I know things keep changing and shifting, and so I'm not giving super specific details today, except I want to talk about the kinds of people that want to reenter the church or are thinking about reentry when we think about the church. And I'm using the analogy or the picture of a stoplight, red, yellow, green, right? We have sort of three different kinds of people that we're considering when we think about reentry. The first kind of people are the people that are running back. They are running back. You're ready to get going, man. You've been ready to be back together as a church since this whole COVID thing started. And you're ready to come back. You're ready to hug. You're ready to connect together. And we figure this makes up about 40% of our congregation. 40% of you are just ready to, let's just get back at her again. And I think that's awesome. I think that's great. And the key word for you guys is going to be the word pace. There it is, pace. Back up a little bit. Oh, I got the whole thing in now. Pace is going to be a key word for you. That you're going to want to run a lot faster than everybody else. And what I'm asking for you is that you would pace yourself. And be kind and gentle to people that maybe are not quite ready to run back to church. We're going to look at three different types of people, like I said. None of these have to do with spiritual maturity. Okay, this doesn't have to do with how close to Jesus you are if you're a personality that wants to run back to church. So you got to pace yourself. You got to go gentle, got to go easy, and it's going to be hard for you to be patient, but I'm asking you to do that as we work together. There's a second kind of group of people, and I'm going to call that group people, they say, I'm walking back. So I'm interested in coming back to church. That's important to me. I really want to reconnect. But I just want to be sure that there's proper precautions taking place, that we're sensitive, that we're being careful with all our safeties so that we can do this well. We can do this respectfully. And that's good. And we want to do this. And a key word and I think, again, we talked about this at our staff meeting. Maybe that makes up about another 40% of our congregation. And a key word for you guys is peace. You want to have peace. And so we're going to do everything we can when we start to reopen to make sure that we're compliant with all the rules. That it'll be strict. We'll have social distancing in place. We'll have sanitizing and cleaning in place. And it's going to mean a lot of extra details and a lot of extra planning. But we're going to do this because we want you to have peace. And so we're hoping that you will walk back and reconnect with us. And we're going to do this safely and carefully. A third group of people are the people that are saying, I'm not sure I want to come back right now. They might not be ready to come back right now. And, they really connecting with the online stuff we're doing with ACC today, with our sermon, and with our weekend services. And they're just not sure. They are afraid of maybe a second wave coming. They're just not sure that our precautions are going to be in place, and so they're saying, I might not come back at all. And there may be key word is their pause. They're taking a pause on gathering together as a community of believers. In a church building, okay? That doesn't mean they're not committed to ACC. That doesn't mean they're not committed to Christ. It's just right now gathering in large groups because of their own sense of what is right and wrong. They're taking a pause on coming together again. And I just want to affirm to you that you're loved and you're not more or less spiritual than anybody else on the list. But you still need to find ways to connect. And so for you, I would strongly encourage you to be in some kind of life group, some way to connect with other Christians who will help motivate you and encourage you in your faith. So you have those three types of people. Now, here's a key thing. And that, I say that group makes up about 20% of us. I'm not sure of these numbers. But it's something like that. And no matter where you are on this, though, I want this to be our guiding principle. It says in Romans 12, verse 10, honor one another above yourselves. And so this is what I want for everybody to do. I don't want anybody in the green column to be judging anybody in the other columns and saying, come on, where's your faith? Don't you love Jesus? Why aren't you here connecting up? Just because they have a tendency to want to run back together again as a church. I don't want anybody in the yellow column to be judging and angry at those in the green column, because the green column are just so excited. We're going to make mistakes through this, and we're going to do our best to work through those mistakes so that we can be careful together. I want us to love each other, not to judge each other, not to feel superior to each other, but to love each other, to honor one another above ourselves. It says in Philippians chapter 2, each of you should look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. It says, consider one another as better than yourself. And then your attitude should be the same as that of Christ Jesus, who of course was the greatest of all. And he became a servant, a slave, died on a cross. He's our example. So that's kind of what I want for us as a community. So it looks like some things are changing with numbers of people we're going to be allowed in. So we're doing some serious thinking and planning on how we can start to meet together again as a community. Some of you are super excited about that. Some of you are cautiously excited about that. And some of you are like, whoa, no, totally okay. I love all of you. And we're going to work this together and figure this out. So please continue to pray. Pray for our leadership here as we think and plan these things. And then pray for the execution of this. Pray that it will we'll be able to work through the glitches and we'll be gracious with one another, and we'll be really careful, and then we'll be able to meet together as a community. So that's kind of where we're at. That's what I wanted to encourage you with today. God bless you. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll be speaking this weekend, the 5th part of our 6-part series of In the Know. And we're going to have sort of maybe a hard-hitting talk about know how to live. That there's a righteous way to live and an unrighteous way to live, and that there is consequences to both of those ways of living. So we're going to talk about that today based on Ephesians 5. So give that a read, and we'll see you on the weekend.